Good morning, everyone. It's Sherry bringing you an update of the yard. It is July 3rd, so it's a Monday. I'm all screwed up on my days with the holiday. I'm down at the very front of the road, and this is the fence area, looking so much better than what it did the last time we were down here. We have some yarrow that is getting ready to bud up and bloom. The poppies were just gorgeous, and I love how they look along the backdrop of this old fence. I remember when Darren put it up, he really wanted to peel the bark off of it to give it a clean look, and I said, no, leave it alone and just let nature do what it wants to do with it, as I really appreciate that look. Our birdhouses up there are getting a little lean too, so hopefully they will not fall down, but someday we know it's inevitable. This area of the property is extremely wet, and it stays wet for a long time. So as we move up, you'll see that we use raised beds to plant anything down on this end of the property. But over time, I'm really hoping that these plants will help that wetness and utilize the water versus it just running downhill. We do have some traffic on the road if you hear something. So this is down here. So we're here at this end of the fence with the poppies. We have some Veronica, or it could be catnip or mint, some sort of Veronica anyway, and that will bloom little purple spikes. All the native plants that was put in here, these are all these guys with no color yet. If they all take, which they're all looking extremely healthy, then the hope is next year we will not have to do any filler in here with annuals. I did pop some annuals in yesterday, Darren and I. So some purple and yellow petunias. And it rained most of the night, so everything is looking really lush. It's been mulched. So back here we have some grasses coming up and also some lilies. The iris is bloomed. There's a few more left to bloom, and they're a combination of white and purple, which are very pretty. This is a climber, and I think I said in my last video that I hadn't had much success with getting anything to climb here. One year, the first year I had roses, and that one summer they looked beautiful, but then they died. And I think it's the wetness. So whatever this is, and I cannot remember what it is, it did come back. So I'm just trailing it to go up the post. And over here is more of the same. So we have milkweed in the back. We have some Rebecca and coneflower and some petunias. Oh, look at these irises. So this will give you an idea of what the others are going to look like. Darren loves blue in the garden, so I try to put it in whenever we can. There's not much option for true blue. And then we have some yarrow, and I don't know really what this is. I don't think it's yarrow, but I have it in specific spaces, both down here and up in my other gardens along the house. I don't know if it's just a big bad weed or what it is, but it seems pretty specific for where it's growing, so I'm just going to let it do its thing and then decide. This is a black lace elderberry, and these traditionally get quite large. Like they can get something like 8 foot tall and 6 wide, and this is its 4th summer. I was really considering hard about moving it this fall, but this year actually it looks like it's starting to finally settle in. Again, it could be because of the moisture, and it just had to acclimatize itself to that. So we'll see. And then this is just the back of the bed with some things that grow really tall that peek out behind the fence. I wanted you to look up through here. This has been playing on my mind as potential space. So we have a little bit of woodlot left on both sides of the driveway at the very end, and we'll walk up through here. It's very wet, mossy, but I have it playing around my mind that wouldn't this make a fun woodland garden? So something that we could put maybe some pellet walkways through, and then just plant some very moist shade-loving plants like hostas. My mind, I just get this envision of just glorious bunch of hostas, and then other really mossy friendly plants. And then as we come up through, we're at the bottom of the left-hand side, and these are our butterflyway gardens. So we have a long one on this end, and everything is looking spectacular. I did save probably a dozen seedlings to when we first potted these beds up, just in case we lost some. We didn't lose any, but we did pop in the rest of them this weekend as well. So just waiting to see what's going to happen there. These are the new trees. So I don't know if I can zoom in. This one. So it's like a chartreuse yellow. It's a maple. And the other one is way up there in that corner. Down here, this little bush is a smoke tree, or a smoke bush. It's not a tree, it's a bush, but it's supposed to get quite large. And then up here is the elm. And I'll try to walk up. This is where all the new grass has been seeded. Got mowed once, and it is still pretty wet. So I'm trying not to walk on it. We'll walk up along the side. And again, I'm really hoping these new beds help with that moisture, because none of these plants down here will get supplemental water. So it's kind of survival of the best, of the fittest. I'll see if I can get closer to the elm on the other end. So this is a smoke bush. It looks very intriguing. I like that reddish hues. We have lots of red on the other side with the maples, the cherry bush. So I wanted a red, something red or burgundy in this area. So that's what that is. You'll hear me squishing because it is very wet. So this is one of the maples. I see the tag is still on, so nope, the tag's off. I love maple trees. They look very nice. And here is where we landed on kind of the rose garden, a little bit of extra stuff. These roses are so pretty. I haven't had luck with roses, as I said, not on this property. I have in the past. So we planted them up here where it's the driest, because that was a thought, where I was planting them too wet. We did raise the bed, so they're not deep. Behind there is a bridal spirea, which is already out of bloom. And this little baby is a butterfly bush of some sort. I have no idea what the variety is, as it was almost dead. It was a freebie, and I took it, nursed it, and planted it. So fingers crossed it will take. But these little roses have been blooming now for a couple of weeks, and they're supposed to bloom through most of the summer. Now this year they may not, where they've gone through some planting trauma. And then we'll come closer to the elm. Darren does not like the look of this tree at all right now. So neither one of us like the weeping kind of trees. But if you look this up, when it reaches its full size, whether or not we'll still be here to see it, but it's put on, when you look at the size of it, the trunk of it's pretty thick already. So that gives me high hopes that it will grow some significant growth. So do look it up, because it doesn't weep per se, but it does have these just very unique structure, wooden structure that does canopy, but it gets very large. So that will be interesting to see. And then the last newbie is this glorious row of butterfly bushes. And I'm telling you, yesterday, was it my imagination? Hopeful thinking? I don't know. But even Darren commented on the amount of butterflies that we were seeing in this yard, and they were different. Like there was some black and white ones, there were some yellow ones. I thought I might have spotted a monarch or two. I'm not able to get too close to the milkweed that's growing down there because it's so wet to examine it to see if there's any activity on it, and it might be too young. I don't know. But it's just fun to, it's fun when you don't know what's going to happen and you just experiment. So the butterflies have a buffet of options in this garden, and right around the house, I'll do more of a container kind of video later on, and we'll see how that goes. So that is it for today. Enjoy your day, everyone.